on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to judging me for whatever the hell is on my floor. One of these days I'll have time to finish setting my studio up, but today it's time for another episode of min-maxing for fun and profit, making another one of the X-Men. This one was really hard. Today, Sledge would like me to build Rogue from the X-Men. This one was super hard, and I think I went through like 20 classes before deciding on what I wanted to do. Anyway, here we go. If you're liking what you're seeing, remember to like, subscribe, and ding the bell. Patronage at Endy's here gets you a copy of a Google Sheet that this character is put together on in case you want to ruin someone's day. I'm trying to keep up with all the new patrons. Today, this episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit was brought to you in part by Fuzzy Wessie. Thanks for your help, buddy. Now, here we go. Alrighty, so in case you missed the boat, Rogue has the ability to absorb and sometimes also remove the memories, physical strength, and superpowers of anyone she touches. My first thought was we were going to homebrew like an Oracle curse, something along the lines of everybody you touched had a bad time. I don't know, I hadn't really figured it out yet. But to make this one work, we're diving way back, not just D&D 3.5, but D&D 3.0. Everything you've heard that was overpowered about 3.5 probably came from 3.0, and I'm going to do my best here to bring them forward and roll them up in such a way that they're not, you know, broken and overpowered. But to make Rogue work, she needs to be able to tag someone, take their power. Today, we are rolling up 5 levels of Spellthief, 8 levels of Hellbreaker, and 7 levels of Soul Eater. The Spellthief does exactly what you think it does. They get a very limited sneak attack, and a Spellthief who hits an opponent can forgo doing sneak attack damage, stealing a spell or a spell slot. At level 1, the target of a steal spell loses 1 0 level or first level spell from memory if she preps ahead of time, or 1 0 or first spell slot. A Spellthief can choose which spell to steal, so there's probably a little bit of like, find a way to read the spell book before you fight him. After stealing that spell, a Spellthief can cast the spell. You treat the spell as if it were cast by the original owner of the spell, which seems to track with Rogue, right? Alternatively, they can use the stolen spell power to cast any Spellthief spell they know, and we get a very small, limited amount that we're not gonna super talk about today. Once you hit 2nd level, a Spellthief can also steal active spell effect, tag someone and take their mage armor off them, or strip off the energy resistance of folks, and eventually, by 5th level, steal someone's spell-like ability. This character definitely needs GM to build a world in which they thrive, but oh, do you? Seriously, look how many things have SP next to their abilities, right? Boatload, Rogue, to a T. The Soul Eater just makes this better. It requires any evil alignment, have a base attack bonus of 5, 2 ranks in Knowledge Arcana, alertness, and weapon focus with a claw. So 1 okay tax and 1 like makes me want to cry on the floor tax. 1 level into this prestige class gets you energy drain. Now, this is the 3.0 one. This is worded kind of horrendously as hell. Let's piece it apart together. Beginning at 1st level, the touch of a Soul Eater bestows 1 negative level on its target. At 7th level, the Soul Eater bestows 2 negative levels with a touch. That with a touch could mean as a touch attack, or since you gotta get taxed pretty hard for this, and honestly, probably about, I want to say 40% of the field is immune to what you're trying to do here. Energy Drain is a supernatural that saps a living opponent's vital energy and happens automatically. Each successful energy drain bestows 1 or more negative levels. If an attack that includes an energy drain scores a crit, it bestows twice the number of listed negative levels, unless otherwise specified. A draining creature, us, gains 5 temporary hit points for each negative level. These temporary hit points last for no more than an hour. They remain until 24 hours have passed. If a negative level is not removed before 24 hours have passed, the affected creature must fort save at DC 10 plus half the draining creature's racial hit dice plus the draining creature's charm mod. On a success, they go away. On a failure, they become permanent. Is this terrifying? Yes. Is this powerful? Yes, but it's also how to make Rogue, right? Go sneak attack somebody, take a spell away from them, and also leave them drained. When something takes a negative level, it takes a cumulative -1 penalty on ability checks, attack rolls, combat maneuver checks, CMD, saving throws, and skill checks. In addition, the creature reduces its current and total HP by 5 for each negative level it possesses. It's also treated as 1 level lower. If a creature's negative levels equal or exceed total hit dice, they die. But it gets even better. We're taking Soul Eater up to 7th level, tacking on 2 negative levels, a +4 strength, a +2 enhancement bonus on all saving throws, abilities checks, and skill checks, +4 enhancement to con, Eventually we can just straight up shape change into people. And then Hellbreaker requires us to be any chaotic. Have 8 ranks in Bluff, 4 ranks in Knowledge the Planes, 8 ranks in Sense Motive. Now, remember, this is reading in 3.5. Sense in 3.5, your maximum rank in a class skill is your character level plus 3. For us, it's just character level. It's safe to reduce the prerequisite by 3. You must also have combat expertise, improved feint, and undue resistance, as well as 2d6 sneak attack. In return, you get hide in plain sight, the ability to negate the telepathy ability of any and all creatures within range, and the ability to steal spell-like abilities again. But the only thing I really couldn't figure out this week was how to steal an extraordinary. But I think we can represent Rogue hits Colossus. Rogue gets stronger, weaker. By putting negative levels on him, you get a bigger strength score. Easy enough. Now, after all that, let's talk about what the hell we're playing. Since we want to be in melee a bunch, and almost all of our hit dice are d6, which means we basically are scared constantly, and we also need to claw attacks. I think today we're going to roll up the Chitin Tiefling that gets a bonus to its Charisma and its Constitution so we don't become a grease spot on the floor. You will of course take the Maw or Claw alternate racial trait to get 2 claws to qualify for things. Your traits are entirely up to you. So almost all of our feats are just sad taxes on this one. At level 1, we'll grab Combat Expertise. This, of course, will allow you to take a -1 on attack rolls and get a +1 dodge to your AC. Improved Feint is next, which lets you feint in combat as a move action and is just a prereq. Then Undue Resistance, our final prerequisite, which actually is pretty darn good. If you successfully deal sneak attack damage with a cold iron weapon, you reduce the target's spell resistance by 1 per die of sneak attack damage. Multiple uses of this feat stack. Undue Resistance can reduce the target's spell resistance to 0, but not below it. Spell resistance reduced in this manner returns to normal 1 hour after. Basically, your casters are just going to be really happy you're there. Then we'll grab Alertness because we have to. Y'all can read what that says, right? I don't want to talk about the fact that we have to take this. I'm pissed. Weapon Focus Claw doesn't look horrible on us because that's what we're attacking with anyway. Again, it's just a big ol' heckin' prereq. Next, we'll grab Ability Focus for Energy Drain, as at this point we are running straight into Soul Eater basically as soon as we have that base attack prerequisite. I think this is the first time I've taken Ability Focus for something that it actually qualifies for. Accomplished Sneak Attacker will give us an extra d6 of damage dice, then Sap Adept and Sap Master, because turns out Claws actually can do bludgeoning damage. Go ahead and stick Merciful on your Amulet of Mighty Fit. Improved Unarmed Strike is next. We talked about this in the Patreon Discord not super long ago. It's important to remember that unarmed strikes can in fact be made with feet, headbutts, tail whips. In our case, I guess the strange animated piercings and chains? I don't know. Point is, being able to attack a 3rd time in a full attack routine without provoking means we can send more sneak attacks off. Our casting and our key magic items are pretty straightforward this time. I can't really tell you about what to do, given the fact that, well, that'll depend on you, friend, and the monsters that you're fighting. Of course, the big 6 will be necessary. Follow this card right up here, and again, you're gonna want a Merciful Amulet of Mighty Fists. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. What do you think? Are we rolling it up? Are we fighting it? Are we playing it? Next week, we're going to do something a little more straightforward. One of my patrons has challenged me to build the classic and traditional tank, so I guess we're going down to Stalwart Defender Town. Wall of full plate and tower shield? Sure, sounds good. I'll see you then.